Okay. So you have this practice, okay, and okay, in page number no, okay, in the refuge section, okay. So I want to put your palm hands together at your heart and repeat after me this refuge verse, okay? In the Tibetan one, phonetic, okay? Mm-hmm. So, repeat after me first as a oral transmission, okay? Sangye, Chödan, Tsoki, Chonam, La, Changchu, Pardo, Dani, Kyapsu, Chi, Dagi, Jinso, Gibe, Sonam, Gi, Drola, Penchir, Sangye, Drubar, Sho. Okay, let's recite together, okay? Sangye Chödam Tsongi Chonam La Changchu Bardu Dani Gyabzun Chi Dagi Jinso Gimbe Sonamangi Drola Benje Sangye Drubara Sangye Chödam Zogi Chonam La Changju Bardu Dani Kyazunje Dagi Jinso Gibe Zonamangi Drola Benje Zangye Drubara Jo Zangye Chödam Zogi Jonamala Chanju Bandu Dani Gyazuje Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamangi Drola Benji Sangye Drubara Jo Zangye Chödam Tsoge Chonam La Chanju Bardu Dani Kyazuje Dagi Jinso Gibe Zonamgi Drola Benji Sangye Druba Jo Sangye Chödam Tsogi Chonamala Chanju Bardu Dani Gyabzuje Dagi Jinso Gibe Zonamgi Drola Benje Zangye Drubara. Okay. So the first part of the Ngondro, there's a visualization, okay? So there's two methods way to visualize. Visualization of the object of refuge. There's two methods. One method is a visualization you do through feeling the quality of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Then you, through this feeling, and then you visualize the object of refuge. One visualization, not through the understanding and feeling the quality, but the visualization through mostly relying into image. Okay, like for example, two-dimension, image of a Buddha, image of a Sangha, image of a Dharma as like a text, and so on and so forth. So we have a two-dimension external object becoming conditioned to visualized. That's another condition. Okay. So ultimate visualization, which kind of visualization we want to have, is not a two-dimension, is a three-dimension. It's not only three-dimension, but it is not abstract, unabstracted three-dimension. Okay, and not only that kind of unabstracted three-dimension visualization, ultimate visualization have to be able to feel the nature of that visualization. Feeling the nature of the visualization, unabstracted three-dimension mental image. That is the way we want to go. Okay. So now, one inner condition for visualization, what we have to have is two things to able to have a good visualization, effective visualization. From the inner condition, you have to have two things. The first thing is your own, as I mentioned, we were talking earlier, pure intention. That's the one inner strong condition. Another condition is the conviction, the faith, the connectedness, closeness. That becomes one of the kind of like the inner condition to visualization. Okay, so you need to see pure intention and devotion or faith, one area. Then that's I will say like that's required for this, how you start these two types of visualization. Visualization starting relying into the two-dimension object condition, external condition, internal good intention, and the conviction. These two have to have. Okay. Now you can also go through with the understanding of the quality of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. And based on this understanding and cultivating conviction, and the visualization may not necessarily depend in the external two-dimension object. That visualization will be some kind of very it's just different style, it's just different track, it's just different flavor. We didn't say one is better than another, it's just different. For some individual, visualization doesn't happen. Even an external two-dimensional object, you take a place, the just mind not able to visualize. There's many different dispositions individuals carry, regardless inner condition, the intention, then conviction, and awareness of the object of refuge. These three are the one of the key elements to visualization. And then, as mentioned earlier, any time when you visualized, you don't have any limitation. Don't object of refuge. In some visualization in a tantra, there is a requirement, certain structure, certain size, certain manifestation. But in a refuge visualization, is something that how the manifestation of the Buddha and the Bodhisattvas, how big, how size, there's no this kind of like a limitation in the visualization. Okay, so from the beginning, through your inner intention and conviction, if there is some kind of like I think it's very individual to individual, so you need to kind of feel the right balance visualization. So the key thing over here, the visualization doesn't become the condition to distraction. Visualization doesn't become the condition for mental sinking. That's really the key area also we need to look at it, okay? Visualization becomes kind of like overdone. So all this kind of like a really balanced visualization becomes important. In a general instruction, is a visualization, you play for the condition for not generating, when you visualize anything, when you're doing visualization, general instruction is whatever you're doing visualization, you have to kind of, that visualization plays important role into overcoming distraction and overcoming mental sinking. So this is like a foundation of a visualization, fundamental foundation. The visualization plays the key role to not falling into these two common problems of a meditation. Okay. So therefore, so for like a refuge visualization, object of refuge visualization, it have something that first thing, which kind of front of your space, you're doing the visualization. That's your object of a visualization. However, you have to have that object. You need to kind of feel it is that balance where you. So once you find that balance, then you have to keep some kind of consistency. Okay, that's the one thing. Another thing is, we have our own immediate conditions of distraction and the mental sinking, and we have our own habit of creating a distraction and mental sinking. So visualization of your refuge field, generally speaking, where you to work with the habit of a distraction and the habit of a mental sinking, that what we carry related to that karmic disposition, then you have to kind of make that visualization, which working with the mental sinking and the mental distraction. So you have to that kind of like so object of a refuge visualization is not random and not kind of like as a beautiful as I can elaborate as a. No, it need to work with our own disposition and correspond with that, and then you need to kind of like understand that and how it's working with that, and then that visualization need to go through just way of a visualization. Okay. In a general instruction, is and not too up and high, not into in a low. Some kind of like a very balanced front of your space. Behind that instruction is to able to overcome mental distraction and mental sinking. That's the key point. Okay. Now, journey of a visualization. How much pay attention for the detail of the visualization? Okay, is the detail important from the beginning or not? So we have to be very clear. Otherwise, we get stressed in a visualization. I'm not able to handle the visualization because we don't know all the details where it's going to go. Okay. So over here again, at the beginning, the detail is not the priority when you're doing the visualization. Even in the later, detail becomes priority or not is different to different people. But however, ultimate, regarding towards the detail of the visualization of the any kind of merit field or refuge object, mirror in its own reflection. It have to be mirror in its own reflection. When the reflection comes into the mirror. How you say? Reflection in the mirror. Okay, we say that. Okay. So the reflection, the detail of the reflection is nothing work done through the mirror. Okay. The detailed manifestation comes into the mirror reflections naturally. Am I saying that clear? You get what I'm saying. That's the key thing. Okay, so when you're saying this kind of complex visualization, when you're saying what we are really trying to doing over here is in a pure mirror, clean like a pure water, to creating a pure water and able to have a perfect reflection of the moon inside that into that what is it, pot or or crystal pot or wherever the water is in there. So when you're doing visualization, it is not kind of like a mental painting you are doing. You are not creating paint, you are just purifying the awareness. Am I making it too complicated? Anyway. So basically, what I'm trying to tell is there's one quotation from one of the master. Tebe wongi chunang dasushin ned tobame wa shisusos. Tebe wongi chunang dasushins. This master kind of like put together, my pure faith is the undisturbed pure water, and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are instinctively into that pure water. Okay, so that's the sometimes some of the ritual, there's invoking rituals, and you're invoked, and he's, due to my faith, pure faith, like the water, the manifestation is instantaneously. Okay, so that's the purpose. So visualization that's the kind of the key thing. But the way we work around that is the whole thing. How we start, how we work, different condition, different disposition. Okay. Then one important part is Okay. So okay. So make sure your mirror is another direction and the object is not another direction. It never shows. Uh, one time in Argentina, I was there. That's the first time I was kind of traveling in the West, and in this kind of huge house. I didn't know there's a glass, so I walked and banged. One time. I think over here, also I did it one time. uh, One of our students' house invited me for lunch, and then I trying to go out. Oh, that's beautiful, and just didn't pay attention because she cleaned her door so clean. She's so clean that I banged it. I didn't broke, but I banged it. Okay. So don't bang with maybe good with the bang with the refuge. Good press. Okay. Uh, so now the question comes when you're first time, when you're doing the refuge Ngondro, you're training, you have to kind of like within the section, you need to kind of like prioritize where you have to work more and recognizing where you have to work more. The areas of the visualizations, area of the intention. So is that everybody will be different. So your refuge Ngondro practice is not about, you know, same one of the students, being in a race car, or, you know, is not about, it is about in a ground of observation of a spiritual path, your own spiritual training is the ground of observation of. So having very clearly which area I need to work. And, you know, Ngondro practice also, you know, you have to have a good plan for the Ngondro practice. You know, you say, oh, I took a Ngondro practice, I got the practice, okay, I'm starting. And then we have a disaster. And then the crash. So it's very important to have a good plan. To be able to have a really good plan, planning is like not about the timing and the schedule. Timing and the schedule we can pretty much get quite quick. The planning is the internal, the recognizing what is my limitation and how I'm going to integrate it and work with that. Even like, for example, common problem is a mental thinking and distraction. Visualization plays important role for that. You know, what is my distractions are? What are my, you know, mental thinkings are? So we need to kind of like, you know, starting from there, okay? So maybe we should have a Ngondro for practicing Ngondro. You all saying no, Rinpoche. We have enough things, no. now, now anytime if Rinpoche coming, he's bringing more trouble. Let him stay Portland. Okay, so the concept is a Ngondro practice for Ngondro. Ngondro to Ngondro practice. Basically, what I'm saying is that maybe we should have a, before you start your Ngondro practice, there's some kind of like a, you know, if you're doing a refuge, maybe you dedicate 1 month for refuge, which area you recognize, you research yourself, the area that you will prepare for that. You know, preparation for any kind of, so preparation is very important, you know, because, you know, from the understanding point of view, from the practical point of view, from your karmic disposition point of view. So some preparation, maybe some preparations. So therefore, you know, based on our experience over here, what we're thinking is in the future, although we have a fundamental studies is going on, there's an instructor, but we want to have some individuals separately, you know, kind of like taking full responsibility for the Ngondro. You know, there's individual practitioners in a way that individual person takes a full responsibility, just focusing into the Ngondro, how to help individual practitioners into the, you know, when they face challenge, how are we going to move, you know, something, giving a specific intention. And once we give a specific responsibility for individual to working with the students who are practicing Ngondro, who are going through, I think it is a little bit our mistake that we didn't plan that from the beginning, because the study itself doesn't face that much challenging. All the challenge comes with the Ngondro practice. And we kind of like learn hard way. We all went learn hard way. So I was thinking we should have a specific, dedicated individual to look after, pay attention after, and students can share how we can make this journey for the students much more smooth. So that's, and also creating like today, like specific, you know, dedicated time and energy to doing the Ngondro practice. Okay. 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 So once again, you know, I will stop talking, you know, and we'll go back to the state of a meditation, you know, mind, okay? And, you know, revisit bodhicitta motivation one more time. Again, we're going to stay silent for a while, and during that time, you know, again, integrate with a breathing meditation, bringing your intention back to yourself, create the inner harmonies, and based on that inner harmonies, create and generate compassion and bodhicitta. Okay, that's where we want to go right now, okay? So I'll stay mostly silent. We all do the meditation together, okay? So let's read all together the visualization, object of refuge.
En el espacio frente a mí, a nivel de la vista, se encuentra un trono, ambos excelsos y gloriosos, construidos de las piedras. Arriba del otro, dos en cada esquina, alta y baja. Encima hay un asiento mandala de loto completamente florecido, luna y sol. Sentado sobre él se encuentra mi sagrado lama raíz, quien es siempre afable y bondadoso. Su apariencia externa es la de Buda Shakyamuni. Su cuerpo tiene la tonalidad del oro refinado y pulido, con la usnisha como corona, una cara y dos brazos. Su mano derecha se dirige hacia la tierra y su izquierda está en su falda, tranquilamente sosteniendo una escudilla de mendigo que está llena con los 3 néctares, adornado con todas las 112 marcas de un Buda. Está vestido con túnicas de monje de color azafrán. Sus piernas están ambas cruzadas en posición Vajra y los rodea una nube brillante de rayos de luz clara.
Okay. Okay. Again, one more time, you go through the visualization and you read together.
En el espacio frente a mí, a nivel de la vista, se encuentra un trono, ambos excelsos y gloriosos, construido de todas las piedras preciosas. Arriba y debajo lo protegen leones, 2 en cada esquina, alta y baja. Encima hay un asiento mandala de loto completamente florecido, luna y sol. Sentado sobre él se encuentra mi sagrado lama raíz, quien es siempre afable y bondadoso. Su apariencia externa es la de Buda Shakyamuni. Su cuerpo tiene la tonalidad del oro refinado y pulido, con la usnisha como corona, una cara y 2 brazos. Su mano derecha se dirige hacia la tierra y su izquierda está de espalda, tranquilamente sosteniendo una escudilla que está llena con los 3 néctares. Adornado con todas las 112 marcas de un Buda, está vestido con túnicas de monje de color azafrán. Sus piernas están ambas cruzadas en posición Vajra y los rodea una nube brillante de rayos de luz clara.
Now, in a third level, we're not necessarily going to read together, but you look into the instruction one by one, step by step, and just kind of gradually go through the visualization, okay? Okay. Now, one thing is important when you're visualizing object of refuge. Okay. Hmm. You know, when we talk, when we, you know, kind of this, you know, like refuge, we look at the causal refuge and resultant refuge. You know, basically whatever label we say, causal refuge and a resultant refuge, one thing is you've seen somebody enlightened, and therefore you are inspired and you are visualizing in same position. You know, the same thing in our human life. You know, in a life you develop passion, you see by somebody's doing something that you're really inspired, and then future you imagine yourself to being in that position. You know, we make that, you know, how we function. In the same way, a refuge is not so much like one person's doing and you admire, and that's the refuge practices. Then you have to have that admiration that you want to be same as whomever inspired you. So in a visualization of object of refuge, so, you know, causal refuge, when you're visualizing Buddha Shakyamuni and your teacher and so on and so forth, something that somebody, something is different. And that beginning part of your visualization, then you have to visualize the second part, yourself as able to becoming that, resultant refuge. So into the visualization in the refuge, that visualization plays also this kind of role, you know, important to inspiration that you are imagining into that space. So what that really means. So am I visualizing myself in a sun and moon cushion, a lotus, and becoming? Do I have to visualize that? No. If you at the beginning you're starting to visualizing that, becoming trouble. Okay. So basically, your object of visualization staying same where you're connecting with that object of visualization or refuge, you are changing slight. Okay, this is a you know, basically that kind of like the visualization stays same, but the way you relate it. So in the Ngondro practice, in the long term, causal refuge visualization is like a pilot light, and the resulting refuge feeling that you generate with that refuge is like the maintaining, that what you need to maintain. That's really during the rest of the Ngondro accumulation during time, that's inspiration related with that visualization you play. You know, you keep that. Okay, that's really important. So basically, object, thought, and sensation. I think these three things play important role to really getting deeper connection. And of course, it will be it have to be a right object, it kind of right thought, and you know, sensation. You know, any kind of like some kind of you know, for example, sometimes some visualization, some thought you integrate with the breathing meditation is the kind of way you integrated object and thought and sensation. You know, so these all are exercising way to cultivating the feeling. You know, otherwise so much it stays into the thought, and so much it stays into the visualization. Okay, so in the many times when you're doing the visualization, particularly when you're doing this kind of object visualization, causal refuge, then you're kind of feeling a resultant refuge. And any time when you're feeling that, it, it generates physical sensation within your body. It generates something. Once you feeling yourself into that, there is some kind of sense of a feeling of a presence of yourself. And that's really is good to deepening your connection with the object of refuge, also practice of refuge. And everything is started in a good intention, obviously, okay? So that's one thing I want to share. Okay. Now the next one, generating the faith. Okay. Again, same thing, read together. We'll do first time and the second time. And the third time, we'll do individual observing the details.
Sentados a su alrededor están todos mis gurús y los del linaje, y también mis yidans, budas, bodhisattvas, dakas, dakinis, protectores del Dharma, están sentados a su alrededor también. Los volúmenes de sus enseñanzas están colocados frente a él, sobre cojines preciosos que brillan con clara luz. Todos los miembros de esta asamblea poderosa están sonriendo y complacidos de que estoy aquí sentado haciendo la puya. Recordando su bondad y clarificaciones, me coloco en un estado firme de gran fe. Sentados a su alrededor están todos mis gurús y los del linaje, y también mis yidans, budas y bodhisattvas, dakas, dakinis y protectores del Dharma. Están sentados a su alrededor también. Los volúmenes de sus enseñanzas están colocados frente a él, sobre cojines preciosos que brillan con clara luz. Todos los miembros de esta asamblea poderosa están sonriendo y complacidos de que estoy aquí sentado haciendo la puya. Recordando su bondad y clarificaciones, me coloco en un estado firme de gran fe.
Okay, uh, let's stop here right now, time being. Okay, let's do it. Take a lunch break. So maybe let's do this way. First, now since we're generating the faith, based on this feeling, let's make an offering, okay? And then we do first make an offering, then we make a dedication, okay? Offering, let's repeat after me, maybe. Repeat after me, okay? Tomba,
Tomba,
Lame,
Lame,
Sangye,
Sanye,
Rimbo,
Rimbo,
Che,
Che,
Kyoba,
Keba,
Lame,
Lame,
Tamju,
Kapje,
Rimbo,
Jimbo,
Che,
Che,
Demba,
Jemba,
Lame,
Namye,
Gindun,
Gindun,
Rimbo,
Rimbo,
Che,
Che,
Kyamne,
Tanye,
Kunjo,
Kunja,
Sumla,
Sumla,
Choba,
Shupa,
Pul.
Tru.
Then this 3-syllable mantra, let's recite together, okay? Om let's do it together. Om Okay, thank you. Let's do the dedication.
Que por los méritos de esta virtud pueda alcanzar rápidamente el estado de un Guru Buda y pueda llevar a este estado a todo ser sin excepción. La mente de iluminación es suprema y muy preciada, que donde no haya surgido surja, que donde ha surgido no disminuya, que cobre cada vez más fuerza. La visión correcta del vacío es suprema y muy preciada, que donde no ha surgido surja, que donde ha surgido no disminuya, que cobre cada vez más fuerza. Así como el valiente Manjushri y Samantabhadra distinguieron los fenómenos tal cual son, yo también dedico estos méritos en la mejor forma, siguiendo su ejemplo perfecto. Dedico todas estas raíces de virtud con la dedicación que es considerada la mejor, por los victoriosos asidos de los 3 tiempos, para poder realizar todas las buenas obras.
Buon provecho. I know this very well.
Son las 12:15, por lo menos a la 1:15 estaríamos de regreso.